Good morning. This is CB Hearn of Social Dynamics. I was calling it a podcast before, but let's just call it my YouTube channel now because I'm not really podcasting technically, and I'm too lazy to upload what I produce on all the platforms that might qualify my productions as podcasts. So anyway, on that note, what has been happening in my life? I've been going to the library a lot recently, and I've been studying, been rereading Plato's Republic, been rereading the Hermetic Corpus, been rereading Thus Spake Zarathustra, or Thus Spoke Zarathustra, depending on your translation. And I've just been trying to work on myself overall because I feel I need a lot of work and I need to build my knowledge base once again because I've been kind of feeling stupid recently. And I know I'm not, like in comparison to most other people, but at the same time, in comparison to what I know I myself can be, I have been feeling stupid. I have been feeling incoherent. I have been feeling lazy. I have been feeling not quite there as far as living up to my potential or even beginning to be able to do so. So I've been spending a few hours every day in the library, except on Sundays when it's closed, which is bullshit. I mean, why have the library closed on Sundays? Can you not just have less staff there? The library is one of the most indispensable public services as far as I'm concerned, and library going should be a lot more encouraged among the populace, and maybe some better books there too, because I'm bringing my own books, because most of the books in the library are just fucking empty wank. So anyway, on that note, one of the things that I've noticed when I've been in there, like, first of all, like, I'm generally only the Irish male below 40 in there for the most part, and other than that it's young girls and foreigners, like female college students and creepy foreigners and a load of weird fucking like 50 plus Africans who don't really actually seem to be reading any books and seem to just be leering at the young Irish females who are there. And that's been pissing me off. And it's not just Africans, there are like Middle Eastern, East Africans there, you know, like yesterday, the fucking two dudes there to piss me off the most. One of them was Middle Eastern and one of them was East African. By the looks, I didn't go over and ask, but you know, to judge them by eye, I would say one was from the Middle East and one was from East Africa, like Somalia, Ethiopia, thereabouts. And they weren't even reading the books. They were sitting there talking to each other, looking at each other's phones. Like, there's another day, there was a guy in there who was like pretending to read a book, but he was just like flipping pages like a 5-year-old who has a reading assignment and is pretending to read in front of daddy, but is doing it very badly and is like flipping the pages, just looking for pictures or something, I don't know. But like, these dudes have been annoying me because the two guys yesterday, it was busy in there, like, and I wanted somewhere to sit down so I could have my book and have my notebook and have my pen so I could be making notes of the book I was reading as I was reading it, because just reading a book, especially if it's a complicated book, is you're not gonna transact the knowledge from that little interaction unless you have a pen and are making notes and are thinking about it afterwards, because just complicated books are hard. You can't just read the book, put it down, and then know what is in the book. You have to take your time, you have to process it, you have to like extract little bits, separate them from the body of the text and try to analyze them separate to your understanding of the, you know, text for itself in its flow and in its coherence. So anyway, you know, I had to sit off to the side where there was no table, so I didn't have the opportunity to be taking notes and like, you know, studying to the extent that I wanted to. And these guys were just fucking chit-chatting on their phones every time there was a woman anywhere near, trying to get noticed. Like, just fucking hell, anytime anything that might have had a pussy wandered by, they just immediately, like hungry dogs, trying to get noticed, like, feed me pussy, And it fucking annoyed the shit out of me, because I wanted to sit down at that desk, and there were no other desks free, but the other desks, as far as I knew it, had college students studying for college, and these little fucking pissant third world foreigners. I was like, why are you here? This isn't the club, douchebags. If you want to try and get laid, go to the fucking club. Instead, you're occupying space in a library where I want to study, and I can't study now because you're here, and you're clearly not here for study, and you're not in fucking college, apparently, anyway, by the looks of things. And if you are, God fucking help you. And you're just, sitting here leafing through things, not reading them, on your fucking phones, trying to get noticed by females. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, why? Why is this allowed? Because, if it was just some young white male in there trying to get fucking laid, he'd be kicked out like this. But because they have dark skin, no one is allowed to say anything to them. No one is allowed to look at them sternly. No one's allowed to do a fucking thing, because this bullshit PC era we live in makes everybody absolutely spineless when they have to take any sort of initiative and maybe say something not 100% placating and ingratiating to someone who is brown. So that pisses me off, and I gave them some dirty looks, and they fucking got with the program eventually, and just, started shutting the fuck up and paying attention to the books that were in front of them. But then somebody else went away, so I was able to sit down. And then some other fucking, just so you don't think I'm fucking discriminating because they were brown, they were like young fucking college student boys who like came back from fucking, I don't know what, they like got a bite to eat or something, and they left all the shit at their table, so I couldn't sit there. But when they came back, they just kept talking, and I was like in study mode. So like, I sternly told them to take it outside if they want to keep talking, and this is a library, it's where you go to study and be quiet. And then they shut up. But I got an air of like, me, an air of what's his problem sort of bullshit that you get, when you try to tell anybody anything in this world that they don't like. So anyway, they shut up pretty quickly and started paying attention to what they're doing. So yeah, I know, like maybe I'm just the fucking angry white man, the archetype of the angry white man. I am personifying perfectly the archetype of the angry white man recently. But hey, if nobody else is willing to do it, I guess somebody's going to have to. And because I notice so many people unwilling to take up the mantle of the angry white man, then I guess I'll put on that hat sometimes. And another thing I saw, and just to be criticizing the new arrivals, of course, as is one of my favorite things to do, because as I said, nobody else is willing to do this. So when other people start catching on and maybe treating the new arrivals with some level of fairness or genuine equality, then maybe I can shut up and stop bearing this heavy load that I'm bearing right now, apparently by myself. So yeah, another one, like yesterday, again, there were like a group of 3 Africans standing around near it, because it was right around the time of like school and college getting out, and there were a group of black men standing in a place where there's a lot of through traffic from college and school kids. And I always think that's weird, because they always seem to congregate by girls' schools or by colleges, or in places where there are lots of young girls. So like, I was just walking past, I was going to a shop, or fucking, I don't know, was I going to get a bus or something? But anyway, I saw them, and they were like fucking acting like they owned the place, and like leering around, looking at all the females, like, and I was walking past, and I like, eyed them suspiciously to, sub-communicate, what the fuck are you up to? And I know, angry white man, look out. But, you wanna make it clear to people who you think are maybe up to something that you're paying attention to them, and then they will be less sure of themselves and feel less comfortable if they are actually, in fact, up to anything. So anyway, I did that, and I walked past them, and as I did, there was like some group of young college girls, and like they were fucking smoking hot, and I was like, avert your eyes, because you know what? Am I gonna look at a female in this day and age? No, because someone will throw a net over me, or I'll get some accusation slung at me, or I'll get fucking laughed at, or I'll get fucking mentally castrated in some other way, and it will lead to nothing good, nothing positive. So anyway, I just fucking walked past and noticed that, and I was like, oh, let's see how these congregated Negroes behave towards them. And as I was like, you know, walking, I like turned around and walked backwards for a few steps as I, you know, because I was doing my trigonometry in my head, and I figured, you know, by me walking this way, this quickly for this amount of time, and them walking that way, that quickly for that amount of time, they should be approaching the congregated Negroes. So anyway, I turned around, and sure enough, all three of the black dudes were like striking their best overacted postures of like a manly fortitude and what, I don't even know what they were trying to do, but like some desperate men, they posture like a little kid posing action figures in the most ridiculous, like, you know, self-aggrandizing postures. So I turned around and they were doing that, and I saw them and they saw me, and then they immediately stopped, but it was just like, and then I turned back around and carried on my way and fucked off, and, you know, got on with my day. But, you know, I was obviously doing that just to fucking show that, you know, you're not so smart, you're not so sneaky, some people are paying attention to you, and some people are not super fond of 50 plus Africans hanging around fucking leering at and bothering schoolgirls on their way home from school and college. So yeah, that was another annoying thing that I noticed. And one more thing, this was a few days ago, but it's the same category of silly shit. I was like walking through the city streets going to some shop, and in Cork there is like a big department store called Brown Thomas, and it's like right on the edge of Patrick Street, and like between Patrick Street and Winthrop Street, and this is like one of the main foot traffic hubs of the city. And on a busy day, you know, there are a lot of people there. There are like, you know, young girls waiting for their mothers or friends, and just people congregate around there anyway. There are like buskers and street performers, all that good stuff. And it's generally, you know, a vibrant, busy area of the city, especially on a busy day as it was that day. So, you know, I was just walking past, and there was like a number of young girls waiting for their friends or mothers or whatever. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw like a group of Muslim women. And like, I don't know if you've noticed this ever, but I have, certainly, being the attentive young fellow I am, that usually it's like the old fat potato shaped curtain covered Muslim women who are after like bearing 12 children, so they don't actually have a humanoid body form. They just look like a potato in a potato sack, you know, but not, you know, one small potato in a big potato sack, but like either a giant potato in a regular sized potato sack, or a very, or sorry, my battery was about to die. So they either look like a giant potato in a regular sized potato sack, or they look like a regular potato in a very small potato sack, because they're so misshapen from years of childbearing, studying the Quran, and misery, and not a whole lot else other than housework and taking beatings, that they are physically not in fantastic shape. And, you know, that's fair enough. I won't judge them too harshly on those terms alone, but like, the point is that I sometimes see these misshapen old Muslim women scowling at young native or young non-Muslim city dwellers, because it's generally in the city, because, you know, around the suburbs here you don't see so many devout Muslims in their silly garb, and you certainly don't see them acting as boldly as how some of them act when they're around the city, because they know they can get away with acting more severe and Muslimly when they're around the city than they can in some of the suburbs around Ireland, at least currently, because, you know, they're still clearly outsiders and they're still very much outnumbered, still, you know, speaking for the here and now, because they're breeding pretty actively. So if we don't want them to be the majority, then I guess we're going to maybe have to do something about that eventually. But I often see these misshapen, contemptuous old cows scowling at non-Muslim young girls who are not in a big potato sack looking outfit like they are, to I presume to attempt to shame them, or just to direct contempt at them generally, because I know Muslim women think that non-Muslim women are sluts, and they like to show that in ways sometimes more overtly and sometimes in a more passive-aggressive sort of way, with just their dirty looks. So anyway, this wasn't a potato sack, potato-shaped Muslim woman who did it this time, but I turned out of the corner of my eye as I was passing the grocery store, where there are sometimes young girls waiting for their mother or friends, and there was like a young Muslim girl like scowling at her like, yeah, you should be wearing a big fucking shawl covering your hair and the shape of your body, and you should praise Allah and subjugate yourself to a silly ideology like I do, slut. So, you know, I saw that and I immediately like gave a dirty look to the Muslim, because like, what the fuck are you doing? This is Ireland. Go back to fucking Arabia if you want to act like that, you fucking tramp. So anyway, you know, I scowled and she immediately like eyes cast downward, and I like looked, and it was obviously some young girl she was looking at who looked mighty confused. And as I was walking past, I just made sure to look back again to make sure the young Muslim woman wasn't fucking again at the scowling. And I looked back at her again, being like, you know, what the fuck are you up to, asshole? And she was looking at me like she was impressed. She was looking at me like she wanted to be dominated by me, dare I say. And I was kind of surprised by that, but then I was like, oh right, yeah, Islam, subjugated, okay, gotcha. Because, you know, obviously Irish people are cowards, right? Yeah, you heard me, motherfuckers. Irish people are cowards and wouldn't dare give a dirty look to someone of another race who has brown skin or is part of some bullshit protected demographic. But me, who doesn't follow the rules and is a feral crazy man, well, I don't care about the rules. I care about what is just and behaving as I think is appropriate. So me being Irish, if there's some outsider being unfriendly to another native Irish person who doesn't seem to deserve it, then that's going to make me fucking annoyed, and that's going to make me be like, hey, outsider, the fuck is your problem? Get your shit together, you know? And then I do, and then it's just like, I obviously expect them to hate me and fucking act like I'm a racist or prejudiced and whatever else the fuck they want to act like I am. I don't care, alright? That is outside the moment in time. What matters is the specific instance and the behavior therein. So I just thought it was funny, and it gave me a lot to think about afterwards, because I was like, she actually liked the fact that I was like, you filthy Muslim, what the fuck are you doing? You better fucking get the fuck back in your place. You know what I mean? This is Ireland, bitch. So, you know, that is hilarious because, well, I was representing or personifying the filthy patriarch, the Western white male, the most contemptible type of human being on planet Earth in this day and age, or so the culture creators want you to believe. And well, me taking on the role of like manly protector of my own kind got this young Muslim girl turned on, and well, she looked like she was ready for some interpersonal crusading, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's just my appraisal on some of the new arrivals and their behavior recently, and my behavior toward them, and how our dynamics are so at odds and so precariously put together. It's like different worlds coming together. It's just like different universes becoming one, and there is just such societal incoherence and such a lack of social cohesion that just the entire enterprise is going to fucking, I don't know what direction it's going, but it's not gonna be getting better, the level of social cohesion between the differing demographics in the near future. Like, I can smell it. Things are getting worse and worse, and the more those so-called minorities become the majority, the more emboldened they will be, and the more their third world culture and worldview and behavior is going to creep into our once noble civilization, and the entire tone of the establishment is going to be lowered, and things are going to get more divisive and more conflictual and more ugly, and there's going to be more violence and more inter-demographical hatred and crime, and we will see there is going to be a lot further polarization among the different types of people that are here, and we are going to see more and more social problems over the next 10-20 years. So I just wanted to make this video and point out some of the behaviors that I see every day that I spend in the city. And I want to ask you, are you seeing similar things? I want to inform you of what I'm seeing so I can say, hey guys, keep your eyes out for similar behavior, because we need to be on guard and we need to be talking about this stuff, and we can't just ignore it and let it go by the wayside, because this is the fate of our very country. This is the future of our very people that is at stake. So we need to be brave, we need to be serious, we need to stand for what we know is right, and we need to take back our civilization before things get too out of hand, because things are going south. The West is in decline, and if the Westerners do not seize control of the West, then it is going to be taken from us by the international bankers and their very willing immigrant stooges. So let's not allow that to happen. Let us unite, come together, and speak so we can understand how best to address the future problems our nations face, our continents face, our world faces. So this is CB Ahern on Tuesday the 8th of January, wishing you a good day and signing off. So salutations. I hope this message finds you. Hey everyone, this is just a little reminder to say show some support, like, comment, share my videos, and donate if you can.